Hope you're having a lovely day and you're searching for another recipe. This is the Majestic Cupcakery.
This stunning sugar sheet wrap is a really good effect to add to your cake techniques. It has a super sparkly effect, all made with sugar, and I'm about to show you a really easy way to achieve it, so just keep on watching. So here I have everything you need to make the sugar wrap. I have 1 cup of granulated sugar. I prefer this over caster sugar because it gives you more sparkle, along with 2 tablespoons of glucose syrup that I've warmed up in the microwave to make it more fluid and easier to work with. I also have a gel food colouring in the colour Baby Blue. It's from Sugar Flare, but you can use any brand you want. And finally a spoon to mix everything together with. So I'm adding the 1 cup of sugar I weighed out to a clean bowl, just so it's a little bit bigger. And just go in with the food gel colour of your choice. Now in gel colouring, a little goes a long way, so be careful how much you add. You then just want to stir this around as much as you can. Don't panic if it looks like it's not mixing and it just looks like it's clumping together. It's going to do that because it's gel. The next step will solve that, so don't worry. Once you've mixed it round a bit, you just want to go in with the fingers and crumble that together like you're kind of making a pie. This will get rid of any little balls of food gel, and you will see the colour start to distribute throughout the sugar. Eventually you'll be happy and it'll look something like this, which is what we're looking for. One tip I do have for you is to make sure you wear gloves for this step, because I didn't and now I have blue fingers that's going to take absolutely ages to get off. You then wanted to go in with the 2 tablespoons of glucose syrup. Because I've warmed it up a little, you can see how much easier it is to handle. Glucose syrup is basically a liquid sugar that helps control the formation of sugar crystals, but can be used in lots of desserts and confectionery. You just want to stir that around, and the aim is to get every sugar crystal coated in the glucose. If you don't, you will struggle to stick it together and it will eventually just crumble. So what you want to do is use the spoon to do this for a little bit, and then swap to your fingers again to make sure it's thoroughly coated. It kind of reminds me of kinetic sand, if anyone knows what that is. Just keep on mixing it until it all starts to come together. You will know when it's ready if you can form a ball with it and it holds its shape. I'm going to go wash my hands and then come back, because as you can tell I didn't know what to do at this point with my hands being so sticky. Just set your mixture off to one side and just grab some greaseproof or parchment paper. Here in the UK we call it greaseproof, and cut out a rough square or rectangle. You want it to be long enough so when you roll out the sugar it'll fit around the cake. Go ahead and cut out another sheet the same size. It doesn't have to be super exact, just roughly the same. Take the top sheet and set that off to one side for a second. Grab your sugar mixture and you're just going to want to pour that out into the centre of the greaseproof. Use your fingers to just thin it out a little bit, so when you roll it out you get more of a longer shape than a taller shape, if that makes sense. Bring that second piece of greaseproof back and just place it on top. Press it down slightly to start sticking the sugar crystals together. Get yourself a rolling pin and begin to roll it out, being careful not to press too hard as it's very delicate. Keep doing this until it's about ½ centimetre thick. If you roll it too thick, you will struggle to bend it around the cake. So I found that ½ centimetre is about the perfect thickness. Check on any bits throughout this, and if they look like they're coming apart, just push it back together with your fingers. And then roll back over it just to make sure it's all stuck down together. If you try to lift it up at this point, you can see how fragile it is, and you'd really struggle to wrap it around the cake. So what I found works is to leave it to set on the side for about an hour, then come back after that and pop it in the oven on a very low temperature, about 70 degrees Celsius. You want to do this for about 5 minutes. This helps to melt the sugar a little, so when it hardens back up it has more of a pliable texture. While it's setting up, I'm quickly going to ice around my cake. It's already crumb coated, so I'm just on its final coat. When icing the cake, you want to make sure you're using a buttercream that doesn't give off too much moisture, as this will make the sugar wrap wilt and become soggy. In the UK, our buttercream sets up with a crisp top layer, which prevents moisture, which is double icing sugar to butter. But American buttercream will do the exact same thing. The icings you would want to stay away from would be like your Swiss meringues or French meringues, as these just give off too much moisture. Using a buttercream that sets with a crisp top layer will also help if you're in a warmer, more humid country, stop the wilting. We don't have to worry about it too much here because it's always cold, but this should help a lot if it's very warm. Back to our sugar sheet. It's been in the oven for about 5 minutes at 70 degrees Celsius, and I've just left it to cool down for about 10 minutes. This process can take anywhere from 10 minutes to 30 minutes to cooling off, but you can tell it's ready if when lifted it bends and seems like you could easily mould with it. You want to then take a ruler and just cut out the size you will need for your cake. So you want to cut it tall enough to just peep over the top of the cake, but not too much that it's too high and breaks. Keep it about 1 to 2 centimetres higher than your cake, no more really. In my case, the total height was about 13 centimetres. I then cut it 30 centimetres long, which was a bit of a mistake because it only wrapped around 3/4 of my cake, but that's okay, I'll show you what I did to fix that later if it happens to you. Trim off any bits you don't need and just pop them in the bin. If you forget about your sugar sheet and think, oh no, it's too hard now, it's going to crack, don't worry, you can pop it back in the oven like before and it will soften back up. Just remember to make sure it's cool enough to wrap around your cake without melting your buttercream. This is what you should end up with, a nice straight edge for the bottom of your cake and a rough top edge that will give you tons of texture. You want to then pick up your sugar sheet and just gently bend that around your cake. Be very careful when doing this and take your time to slowly bend it around to prevent any cracking. Because your buttercream will still be soft and hasn't formed a crust yet, it kind of acts like a glue for the sugar sheet and helps it stay in place. To give the sugar sheet a little something extra, I'm just taking this silver metallic food paint from Rainbow Dust just to paint around the edges. You could use a gold paint also, or any metallic food paint colours you have. You will see in a minute how much it just lifts it. And this is how it's looking so far. I'm in love with how it's turning out. Let's fix up this missing gap. It actually worked in my favour. By adding some textured buttercream, it kind of gave it another look, and I'm not even mad about it. So if you do a full wrap or even half a wrap, it's still going to look just as good. This was done on a 4-inch cake, so if you have a bigger cake, remember to double all the sugar sheet ingredients. I finished it off with some buttercream swirls because why not, but you could literally design it however. Once you know the technique, you can do absolutely anything with it. So here's the finished look. I really like how it sparkles when the light hits the sugar. It gives you this glittery effect that's amazing. People will constantly be asking you how you did it because it's such an interesting look. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and don't forget you can subscribe and it'll give you a notification every time a new video is uploaded. I'll see you all next time. Bye!